Hello everyone, welcome in. This is section 1.3, Logically Planning an Illustration, in Mogoon's class Fundamentals of Stylized Character Art with Mogoon. I kind of lied. I said in the last video that this was section 2. I didn't realize that there's a third class as section 1, so forgive me. Some messages out of the way because I'm going to be referencing them in all of these videos in the series that I'm updating. Sorry for the bit of the delay. I had a festival and I got a wisdom tooth removed, so it's been a busy couple of days. Otherwise I would have uploaded yesterday, but the videos honestly were received way better than I thought they would be. So it's really awesome to see your guys' feedback and input on the videos, as well as help answer any questions that you guys might have. Seeing the support, I'm more than happy to keep this up for you guys. I'm really glad it's helping other people. So to help support the videos, I actually created a new outro because I finally was stopped being lazy about it. And I'll be building the outro with my socials and anything to help you guys stay connected with my content. I also am probably going to change the thumbnails a little bit, make them a little bit easier to see visually and read them from a glance on my channel rather than just running through the whole playlist, so people aren't squinting at their monitors. And then I'm actually going to be working on some new content. I'm really glad that I can help you guys in regards to these Coloso classes, but I also want to show you guys possibly a lot of the help that I can further provide in different aspects of the professional field that I'm more experienced in personally, as well as if I can possibly help you guys on a personal level with some tips and tricks that I know as well. I'm also going to be continuing the series. There's an animation class that opens up here, I think next week. I'll list it up here, so stay tuned for that if you're interested in 2D animation, and I'll be making other styles of content, so really exciting stuff coming up. I really appreciate you guys. So to get started, for those reading through the document and sticking around with it, obviously I always link the video links from this video here if you're watching right there, but also I added an outline to the document. Hopefully that'll help you guys that are inside the document and navigating it to get a little bit around without having to scroll through infinitely. So section 1.3 was kind of a longer class, but it more so provided small notable tips and tricks for Mogoon when trying to build the process to an illustration. So planning is prioritizing the theme and subject centered around this purpose, and really this is just Mogoon's considerations when beginning planning an illustration. So if you're trying to draw for a living, it's really important to work on drawing to meet what is planned, which is also what he kind of further instructs, which is to draw with intention. But do not rely on chance alone for drawing. It's really, really important, whether you're commissioned by someone online, you're commissioned by your employer, whoever's paying you, that you're drawing with the purpose and what they want, you can replicate that and whatever they're looking for, because really that's what they're paying you for. They're paying for your ability to visually design something that they can't necessarily do themselves. And Mogoon kind of uses the artwork for the curriculum as a basis for his own considerations, and he kind of walks through the considerations that he went through when designing the artwork for this class, which include perspective drawing, form and shape, or really the human body, and then light and texture. After the considerations, the theme and the subject can be decided. So he kind of works through this about this idea of, first and foremost, what considerations do you know for sure your project or your illustration really has to include? And from there, you can kind of decide the theme and the subject. So if your employer or your commissioner or whatever asks for a female character that's cute, what themes and subjects can you create around your female character to make them cute? You know, maybe it's pastel colors. You understand what I mean when designing these characters. He also mentions that female characters are generally easier to appeal to the public audience from experience. He doesn't really provide any reasoning besides just what he's dealt with. And this is just from his experience, which he says all artists generally tend to prefer female characters or don't mind doing female characters more so than male characters. He also says to conduct research for references with a purpose after you decide the subject. That way you're not infinitely scrolling through things like Pinterest, Facebook, Google search, whatever, trying to find a reference for something that you might not even need to consider. He says time is of the value, make it your essence. He also talks about how planning for fan art is slightly different because the original character already exists, so there's less to consider for creative design, and it's generally aimed to emphasize the appeal of the character and make them appealing rather than showing off the world that the character is in. Because fan art is pretty much just an homage to the original content. A really, really good side note that he mentions is that if you're drawing a cute character, a high angle perspective is generally better because it makes them look smaller, the proportions look smaller, as well as the facial features look bigger. That way, you're kind of emphasizing the aspects that we generally see more in kids rather than adults. Interesting tip. Hopefully that might help you guys later in the future. I'm definitely taking note of it. He also mentions that being crafty with your design choices to certain elements will help you stand out, but only if you have the artistic skill to pull it off, which is really going to come from, as he mentions in 1.1, strong fundamentals. As much as it is really cool that you have really crazy ideas or different perspectives or really elaborate design choices, it really doesn't matter if you can't pull them off in a visually appealing way. So that's where strong fundamentals are going to come in and carry you to be flexible throughout different sort of situations that you might see yourself in as an illustrator or a designer. Mogoon's priorities of the curriculum artwork include demonstration of content, beautiful artwork, and interesting artwork from top priority at the top and lowest priority at the bottom. But these are all priorities that he considers, which is where he then designed the artwork around those considerations. So having a set of determined priorities will help avoid contradictions in creation. That way, when he's designing, he's not including elements that might hamper his intent with the drawing itself. So when making a rough sketch, you only really need to convey the basic ideas of the illustration, which is the mainly consideration of ideas. So when you're planning, you're not really having to deal with possibly conflicting elements later that you'll have to remove and you've wasted time on anyways. So the summary of this is to plan with a purpose by creating a list of priorities or purposes for the drawing, then designing the theme, subject, and subsequent relevant elements of the drawing that must be considered around it. That way you're kind of saving time and being efficient with building your design character slash choice slash whatever from the ground up. The fundamentals will supplement flexibility in different ideas when planning drawings, and that way it makes you more reliable as an artist overall. And this is the rough sketch phase, so mainly convey ideas and purpose with composition then details. You know, get the feeling of the drawing first, then you can refine it later, which he mentions we will be going over actually pretty soon in these next upcoming lectures. And the self-assigned homework that I thought was appropriate is to sketch 2 to 3 rough drafts of illustrations that utilize purposeful composition. So this doesn't have to be anything elaborate. This can even be shapes, blocks, whatever helps convey the idea of the illustration that you have in mind and the composition that you have. So really trying to roughly sketch down what you see in your head down onto the paper. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like I said, we'll be getting into detail work here pretty soon with the upcoming classes as seen in section 2.1, which hopefully I'll be getting over here pretty soon. So that was section 1.3 with Mogoon. Thanks again for the support on the video so far, guys. If these videos have been helping you guys out and you think they might help out other people, you know, share them to your friends, family, strangers, anyone that you think this might help for. Don't be afraid to share it around. Hopefully these videos can reach out more people, and hopefully we can build a community of people that can provide insight to each other besides just me rambling on a document. But in any case, I'm glad this document has still served to be of help for other people. Thank you again, guys. Feel free to catch me on my socials here. That way you guys can stay up to date with new upcoming videos and content that I might be working on. In any case, again, that was 1.3. Hopefully I'll see you guys in section 2 upcoming. Really exciting stuff, and you guys have a good one. See you next time.